Okay, silver and gold, or is it silver versus gold? Maybe silver versus gold versus platinum. I'm not sure that I have any platinum though. Give me a minute, I'll go look. Okay, we're going to talk about some alternatives to gold in this one. Yep. I am talking about silver and maybe even platinum, but before anyone gets too excited, I'm not here to tell anyone to do anything, especially not to buy silver or platinum instead of gold. I'm just going to lay out the considerations that I've used and I continue to use to decide what to buy. Now, I'm buying gold almost exclusively right now, but it's not out of some big bias. It's not out of some all-encompassing belief that gold is the only way to go. I've actually picked up a lot of silver over the years, and I've been a fan. And if a few things hadn't changed, I'd probably still be doing it. And then one final note here before we dive in. I'm not trying to divide us up here. I'm not trying to divide the camps, the silver and the gold camps. Most people don't stack one metal exclusively. If you like more than one single precious metal, I get it. And I can't tell you which metal has the most potential, which metal is the safest bet. All I can do is go off of the track record during my time with them and then talk about the current conditions driving my decisions. Okay, as somebody who used to stack a fair amount of silver, I know that's relative, nothing crazy. I had a monster box and then some bars on top of it, so bigger than a bread box. I've paid attention to a few things, and we could probably break those down into two camps, cost and value. So cost, we're talking about the past and the current cost. Value, we're talking about the future. We're talking about expected. So what it used to cost, both in terms of spot performance and premiums, what it costs now, and then what kind of future value it might have. And of those three things, the only thing we're all going to agree on is the past and the current. That last factor is where we're all going to have to make our final decisions. Nobody knows the future. So starting off in the past, silver always had a good price point for me outside of a few points. Call those points between 2011 and 2013, and then again 2020 until now. I was picking up American Silver Eagles between $20 and $25, and then I also liked generic 10-ounce bars. I was picking those up in the $200 to $230 range. So I was able to buy coins, American Silver Eagles, with walking around money. I'd have $25 on me, $50 on me. I could buy two coins with that $50. Bars, I could pick those up at a relatively low cost. So I started buying both in 2008. I stopped buying in 2011, started up again in 2014, and then stopped again in 2020. I'll just explain that real quick. I stopped in 2011 because spot price had rocketed up. Premiums jumped on ASEs, and then I stopped in 2020 because premiums skyrocketed, kind of across the board. So they were very different things, but in both cases, I thought the current costs for silver outweighed the expected future value. Again, expected is only my opinion. I'll come back to that in a minute. 2011, just starting there, that was a lot different than what happened in 2020. It really probably doesn't make much sense unless you were buying at the time. Every time you'd walk into a local coin shop, the prices were noticeably higher than the last time. It just felt like it was getting excessive, but it was kind of exciting to think that what you already had was going up so fast. In 2020, though, it was totally different. Premiums jumped up past 30%, and they've only gotten worse. While I'm recording this, right now the spot price of silver is $22. So looking at prices of the things that I liked to buy, a 10-ounce silver sunshine mint bar, so a generic 10-ounce silver bar, is $300 at JM Bullion or AppMax. If you use a credit card, it's a few dollars cheaper at JM Bullion, $10 cheaper if you were to use e-check or wire. So that's a 30% premium in the best case scenario. Again, that means you're not using a credit card. And I'm saying generic sunshine bar, but I'm flashing a Royal Canadian mint bar. These have a higher premium, but this is all that I have on me. I'll link to a video about my sale of silver in the description if you're interested. A 1-ounce American Silver Eagle, well, they're $38 to $40 again at the big bullion dealers. Probably you can find a better deal, but we're just going to keep the comparison similar. That is an 80% premium. Now, my local coin shops mirror what you'd find at those big online dealers, so they're going to be the same. So this is all relative because in my mind, metals should have been going up. A very specific thing happened though. I could get a 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagle for cheaper than I could get a generic 10 ounce silver bar. And the 1/10 ounce Eagles, well, that was the highest premium gold coin that was on my radar. So the highest premium option that I would have purchased. And these are 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagles, not 10th ounce, but again, close as I can get. And then those 10 ounce Sunshine bars, well, they were the cheapest silver on my radar. You can find more expensive gold and you can find cheaper silver. My reasons for only wanting local sovereign coins or 10 ounce bars would probably take up a whole video, so I'm going to punt on that. But based on that cost comparison between the low premium silver bars and the high premium gold coins, well, silver was no longer an alternative to gold to me. So I've already said this at least once, but this is not me trying to tell you what to do. That's just the primary factor for me. If I can get a 1/10 ounce gold coin for less than a 10 ounce silver bar, that $250 range, that price point, no longer favors silver, again to me. So if that took a swing the other way and the 10 ounce silver bars were considerably cheaper than any gold I could find, well then I'd reconsider. And at that time, I was budgeting more than $250. I was spending about $500 to $550 a month by default. So the comparison for me was actually 1/4 ounce of gold versus 20 ounces of silver or so, somewhere in there. So the cost factor being lost to premium was even further in the gold camp. Gold was cheaper since the 1/4 ounce Eagles had a much lower premium than any silver I could find. Again, at least any of the silver that I could find that was in my list of what I wanted. So that's the big one to me, acquisition cost, and that's based off of current performance and current premium. Both silver and gold have gone up in spot price over the past few years, but the premium on silver has gone up much faster. So it has a higher sunk cost, more loss to premium. Now, I'm currently buying an ounce of gold each month, so I'm finding 5% premiums. And that's compared to silver's 30% that I'd get if I was buying those bars, which is probably the way that I would go right now. So the other category here is the expected value, like how the metals are going to perform in the future. And this is where I can only give opinions, of course. I think gold will outperform silver over the long run since it's the tier 1 asset of the bunch. Silver's industrial utility, it just doesn't impress me much. I know a lot of people are on the other side of the fence, but there are already alternatives to some of its wider applications like graphene and solar panels. And I know this is a hot button for a lot of people, but I'm only giving my personal expectations for silver over the long run. So that's industrial demand. If you looked at it from a monetary perspective, it being a monetary metal, well, its role was primarily in divisibility. So historically, it didn't make sense to try to buy basic goods with gold. That's what silver was for. But now that precious metals are out of circulation for common transactions, silver just isn't required. There are other ways to divide gold, but none of us are buying gold to turn around and spend it to begin with. We're buying it to preserve wealth, and I'm not sure wealth needs to be divided below the gram level. So it's a practical alternative to gold. I think silver would need a lower premium, and I do think it'll get there again. In the meantime, though, not everything needs to make mathematical or economical sense. If you want to buy American Silver Eagles just to have some, and you're okay spending $38 here and there to pick some up, I say knock yourself out. And if you want to stack heavier, those 10 ounce bars, those generic Sunshine bars or whatever, they aren't far off from fractional gold levels. So if I was looking at the two and I didn't have a big bias one way or the other, it would really come down to the cost and then how much I cared about that. Now, if I thought that graphene or that divisibility thing, they weren't factors, again, I'd be looking at the cheapest silver I could buy in each comfortable transaction. If that was $550, for me, that would be 2 10-ounce generic silver bars. And 30% is the going rate if I don't bargain shop. And then I'd compare that against the lowest premium gold that I could get for $550. And I can find lots of 1/4 ounce coin options for half that premium, 15% or lower. So if I wanted to stay closer to $250, the premiums of the two are a lot closer. It'd be harder to decide. And then if I was going to spend more, say like $2,000, well, gold is far less in premium. So a lot of it comes down to the budget that we're talking about. Now, the other metal in play here, of course, is platinum. And I just don't think of platinum as a monetary metal. I don't think many people do. So it's purely a cost versus expected future value to me. I think it's undervalued. I think it's undervalued based on its rarity. Platinum truly is rarer than gold, far more rare than silver, which is still only mined as a byproduct. So it has an interesting place in this whole equation. Honestly, though, I don't feel like it fits in with the other two, at least not to me. It's more of a novelty. I think it's great in jewelry applications. My wife is a huge fan, but as a coin, I'd really only be interested if that coin had some kind of collector value. And as a bar, I guess I could see it gaining in value. But if I'm only buying an asset based on speculation of future value, there are other assets that make more sense to me. Like, literally make more sense. I can't explain the ups and the downs in platinum spot price. It just doesn't make sense to me, so I haven't jumped in. So wrapping this up, if the cost factors changed for silver or some new industrial application popped up, I would reconsider stacking it again. I actually think that we'll see both of those things happen. So if you're already a champion of silver, I'm not here to tell you to buy gold instead. I'm really just comparing costs, and then I have to factor in my opinions on where things are going. So that takes care of my side of it, but let us know what you think. Do you stack both? Do you prefer one over the other? I'm sure a lot of you have alternatives that I didn't call out here, like constitutional silver. That's just not something I've ever gotten into. I think it has its own set of pros and cons. I think the cons outweigh the pros. That's just me. But if you think I'm off base on any of this, I'm always interested to hear your take. So hit up those comments, and while you're there, be sure to hit the like button if you found any of this interesting. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you want to see more on the topic. And if you're still here, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.